MTC 1, 2025, Unit 11 Number. Analysis. The hunter-gatherer lifestyle, which can be described as natural to human beings, appears to have had much to recommend it. Examination of human remains from early hunter-gatherer societies has suggested that our ancestors enjoyed abundant food, obtainable without excessive effort, and suffered very few diseases. If this is true, it is not clear why so many humans settled in permanent villages and developed agriculture, growing crops and domesticating animals. Cultivating fields was hard work, and it was in farming villages that epidemic diseases first took root. Whatever its immediate effect on the lives of humans, the development of settlements and agriculture undoubtedly led to a high increase in population density. This period, known as the New Stone Age, was a major turning point in human development, opening the way to the growth of the first towns and cities, and eventually leading to settled civilizations. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC 1, 2025, Unit 11 Number 01. From an organizational viewpoint, one of the most fascinating examples of how any organization may contain many different types of culture is to recognize the functional operations of different departments within the organization. The varying departments and divisions within an organization will inevitably view any given situation from their own biased and prejudiced perspective. A department and its members will acquire tunnel vision, which disallows them to see things as others see them. The very structure of organizations can create conflict. The choice of whether the structure is mechanistic or organic can have a profound influence on conflict management. A mechanistic structure has a vertical hierarchy with many rules, many procedures, and many levels of management involved in decision-making. Organic structures are more horizontal in nature, where decision-making is less centralized and spread across the plane of the organization. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC 1, 2025, Unit 11 Number 02. It would be hard to overstate how important meaningful work is to human beings, work that provides a sense of fulfillment and empowerment. Those who have found deeper meaning in their careers find their days much more energizing and satisfying, and count their employment as one of their greatest sources of joy and pride. Sonia Lyubomirsky, professor of psychology at the University of California, has conducted numerous workplace studies showing that when people are more fulfilled on the job, they not only produce higher quality work and a greater output, but also generally earn higher incomes. University of California Sonia Lyubomirsky. Those most satisfied with their work are also much more likely to be happier with their lives overall. For her book Happiness at Work, researcher Jessica Price-Jones conducted a study of 3,000 workers in 79 countries, finding that those who took greater satisfaction from their work were 150% more likely to have a happier life overall. Happiness at Work, Jessica Price-Jones 793,000,150. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC 1, 2025, Unit 11 Number 03. Some countries have proposed tougher guidelines for determining brain death when transplantation, transferring organs to others, is under consideration. In several European countries, there are legal requirements which specify that a whole team of doctors must agree over the diagnosis of death in the case of a potential donor. The reason for these strict regulations for diagnosing brain death in potential organ donors is, no doubt, to ease public fears of a premature diagnosis of brain death for the purpose of obtaining organs. But it is questionable whether these requirements reduce public suspicions as much as they create them. They certainly maintain mistaken beliefs that diagnosing brain death is an unreliable process lacking precision. As a matter of consistency, at least, criteria for diagnosing the deaths of organ donors should be exactly the same as for those for whom immediate burial or cremation is intended. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC 1, 2025, Unit 11 Number 04. There is a reason the title Monday Morning Quarterback exists. Monday Morning Quarterback. Just read the comments on social media from fans discussing the weekend's games, and you quickly see how many people believe they could play, coach, and manage sport teams more successfully than those on the field. This goes for the boardroom as well. Students and professionals with years of training and specialized degrees in sport business may also find themselves being given advice on how to do their jobs from friends, family, or even total strangers without any expertise. Executives in sport management have decades of knowledge and experience in their respective fields. However, many of them face criticism from fans and community members telling them how to run their business. Very few people tell their doctor how to perform surgery or their accountant how to prepare their taxes, but many people provide feedback on how sport organizations should be managed. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC 1, 2025, Unit 11 Number 05. Although praise is one of the most powerful tools available for improving young children's behavior, it is equally powerful for improving your child's self-esteem. Preschoolers believe what their parents tell them in a very profound way. They do not yet have the cognitive sophistication to reason analytically and reject false information. If a preschool boy consistently hears from his mother that he is smart and a good helper, he is likely to incorporate that information into his self-image. Thinking of himself as a boy who is smart and knows how to do things is likely to make him endure longer in problem-solving efforts and increase his confidence in trying new and difficult tasks. Similarly, thinking of himself as the kind of boy who is a good helper will make him more likely to volunteer to help with tasks at home and at preschool. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC 1, 2025, Unit 11 Number 06. The most noticeable human characteristic projected onto animals is that they can talk in human language. Physically, animal cartoon characters and toys made after animals are also most often deformed in such a way as to resemble humans. This is achieved by showing them with human-like facial features and deformed front legs to resemble human hands. In more recent animated movies, the trend has been to show the animals in a more natural way. However, they still use their front legs like human hands. For example, lions can pick up and lift small objects with one paw, and they still talk with an appropriate facial expression. A general strategy that is used to make the animal characters more emotionally appealing, both to children and adults, is to give them enlarged and deformed childlike features. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC 1, 2025, Unit 11 Number 07. You may have seen headlines in the news about some of the things machines powered by artificial intelligence can do. However, if you were to consider all the tasks that AI-powered machines could actually perform, it would be quite mind-blowing. AI. One of the key features of artificial intelligence is that it enables machines to learn new things, rather than requiring programming specific to new tasks. Therefore, the core difference between computers of the future and those of the past is that future computers will be able to learn and self-improve. In the near future, smart virtual assistants will know more about you than your closest friends and family members do. Can you imagine how that might change our lives? These kinds of changes are exactly why it is so important to recognize the implications that new technologies will have for our world. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC 1, 2025, Unit 11 Number 08. The human brain, it turns out, has shrunk in mass by about 10% since it peaked in size 15,000 to 30,000 years ago. 15,00030,00010. One possible reason is that many thousands of years ago humans lived in a world of dangerous predators where they had to have their wits about them at all times to avoid being killed. Today, we have effectively domesticated ourselves, and many of the tasks of survival, from avoiding immediate death to building shelters to obtaining food, have been outsourced to the wider society. We are smaller than our ancestors too, and it is a characteristic of domestic animals that they are generally smaller than their wild cousins. None of this may mean we are dumber. Brain size is not necessarily an indicator of human intelligence, but it may mean that our brains today are wired up differently, and perhaps more efficiently, than those of our ancestors. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC 1, 2025, Unit 11, Number 09. We usually get along best with people who we think are like us. In fact, we seek them out. It's why places like Little Italy, Chinatown, and Koreatown exist. But I'm not just talking about race, skin color, or religion. I'm talking about people who share our values and look at the world the same way we do. As the saying goes, birds of a feather flock together. This is a very common human tendency that is rooted in how our species developed. Imagine you are walking out in a forest. You would be conditioned to avoid something unfamiliar or foreign because there is a high likelihood that it would be interested in killing you. Similarities make us relate better to other people because we think they'll understand us on a deeper level than other people. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC 1, 2025, Unit 11, Number 10. The reduction of minerals in our food is the result of using pesticides and fertilizers that kill off beneficial bacteria, earthworms, and bugs in the soil that create many of the essential nutrients in the first place and prevent the uptake of nutrients into the plant. Fertilizing crops with nitrogen and potassium has led to declines in magnesium, zinc, iron, and iodine. For example, there has been on average about a 30% decline in the magnesium content of wheat. 30%. This is partly due to potassium being a blocker against magnesium absorption by plants. Lower magnesium levels in soil also occur with acidic soils, and around 70% of the farmland on Earth is now acidic. 70%. Thus, the overall characteristics of soil determine the accumulation of minerals in plants. Indeed, nowadays our soil is less healthy and so are the plants grown on it. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC 1, 2025, Unit 11, Number 11. An economic theory of Say's law holds that everything that's made will get sold. Say. The money from anything that's produced is used to buy something else. There can never be a situation in which a firm finds that it can't sell its goods and so has to dismiss workers and close its factories. Therefore, recessions and unemployment are impossible. Picture the level of spending like the level of water in a bath. Say's law applies because people use all their earnings to buy things. Say. But what happens if people don't spend all their money, saving some of it instead? Savings are a leakage of spending from the economy. You're probably imagining the water level now falling, so there's less spending in the economy. That would mean firms producing less and dismissing some of their workers. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC 1, 2025, Unit 11, Number 12. There have been occasions in which you have observed a smile and you could sense it was not genuine. The most obvious way of identifying a genuine smile from an insincere one is that a fake smile primarily only affects the lower half of the face, mainly with the mouth alone. The eyes don't really get involved. Take the opportunity to look in the mirror and manufacture a smile using the lower half of your face only. When you do this, judge how happy your face really looks. Is it genuine? A genuine smile will impact on the muscles and wrinkles around the eyes, and less noticeably, the skin between the eyebrow and upper eyelid is lowered slightly with true enjoyment. The genuine smile can impact on the entire face. MTC. Good job.